Sacred waters of the earth, be clean, be healed. Oh, sacred waters of the earth, clean me, heal me. The waters of rivers, effortlessly carving through the land like dancing blue ribbons, nourishing every single cell. The waters of waterfalls, majestically crashing through the rocks, you murmur of freedom is clearing like magic all my thoughts. Sacred waters of the earth, sacred waters of the earth, sacred waters of the earth.
Hello, welcome everybody in Dreamy Dialogues. Today we are here with wonderful Magdalena Atkinson. She's an incredible soulful singer, songwriter, Shakti dancer, music therapy facilitator, and she's got her own band, Magdalena and the Mystical Birds, which I'm very curious to hear about and for you to share, because she is very connected to the birds, which we will explore in a minute why, when she's going to share her personal story. So
yeah, big welcome to the show, really, Magdalena. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
So,
Definitely.
as is often the tradition now, we'd love to hear a bit more in your words, I suppose, about, Kasia mentioned singing and dancing, but it'd be great just to hear how you became to be involved in that, a bit of background there, and obviously sort of bring it towards the Jinkies and the Dream Art. But just feel free to share whatever comes through you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, as a description on my let's say little bio, when you say I'm a singer-songwriter, then you can put all the list of other things I could be, and at the end is I'm a dreamer. And that word always was very close to me. That I'm a dreamer. So high up in the air, and then sometimes landing softly. And visiting different places. So I live in the UK, like Kasia, but like Kasia, I'm Polish. And before I landed in UK, I travel around the world. I used to live in Bali. I used to be involved in a tourism industry. So, being specializing in Southeast. So it was Malaysia and Thailand and Bali. Not for long. Then I landed in Corfu in Greece, where I met my husband, and then he introduced me to England. So that was my way 20 years ago. And during that journey, I discovered my singing-songwriter talent at university. Actually, even a bit earlier, probably I started to write some first poetry, but I never believed that I could be a poet, or nothing like that even crossed my mind. My mom was a singer-songwriter, but doing it on a very low profile. And I always admire that, but I never thought that I have it in me. And then it suddenly kind of exploded. And it has been beautiful. It was really a beautiful gift. So I set up the band in Poland, and everything was kind of ready to to explore and do more, but then things change and you have this calling, and the calling for me was travel. And that was that kind of, what do I do? And I travel. And like these little birds here, which I will be talking about them later, the hummingbirds travel far for very, very, very long time. And they are so tiny, and you just feel like, how is it possible? So yeah, on some level, I just got a scholarship in Bali, the School of Art and Dance in Denpasar. And just after passing my master degrees, I just caught the plane and didn't know how to count to 10 in Indonesia, knowing that I'm spending a year there. I didn't have any time to prepare. So it's completely adventurous spirit, and landed in Bali. And then it was that mix of travel and excitement, and I thought that my life is that direction. So but the music kind of left me at that point. I stopped writing. Maybe astrologically it was not my place where I could really be, we have in astrology the kind of location, your location or new location may activate some parts of your chart, and you may discover different gifts in yourself if you follow that path. But it stopped completely. So when I came back to Europe and traveled again across Europe, I stopped writing. Then, to my surprise, I became a mother of 3 children very, very quickly, in 4 years, having 3 amazing kids. And then again, like, oh, surprise, surprise, forgot that I can even sing, but forgot who I am in some sense as well, forgetting about our identity. And I remember when my mom called me, and she was so sweet. She said, "Oh, I have your music on a CD, and we listened to that." And I was so angry. I shouted at her, and I took the case and a CD, and I listened to that, and it was horrible. And I threw it, and I actually broke it. And then it was like, oh, what have I done? My only copy. And of course I started to cry. That's like why I'm crying, why it is so important, why I'm so angry. It was that at that point I didn't have the language we have now, how to cope with different things and how to have this inner dialogue. I just was angry. But very, very lucky enough, shortly after, I made friends with wonderful group of women. One of them was a shaman, and she invited me for some healing sessions. And to my surprise, and not to my surprise, during those sessions came that I'm neglecting my inner child who wants to dance, sing, and play. And I say, yeah, I do play with my children. I was running music classes at that point, so I wasn't completely neglecting it. I was frolicking around with other mums with big bumps and babies. But it wasn't my own original material. It was the American program called Kinder Music. So was copying that basically. And after that session, something completely changed. I went for the walk, and my first chant came, the healing chant, and I'm writing lots of healing chants as well as songs. I was a powerful woman. I'm a powerful woman who is walking on this earth. Which actually in Polish became quite a many groups in Poland are singing it as a kobieta mocy, which is very beautiful. And this song changed everything, because the song started to come, because I forgot that I can write. I disbelieve in my gift. I thought that coming to England and my English is rough and I have a funny accent, who would like to listen to me? All those excuses. And then the song started slowly. It wasn't fast, very slowly reappearing. But it led to me me taking part in a Shakti Dance workshops, and then becoming a Shakti Dance teacher, then getting my dulcimer, my instrument, which I will share with you later. And actually everything started to kind of unfold, and I started to trust in my gift. So I'm very, very grateful for that, you know, for all those lows and doubts and everything else, because we always find ourselves, I believe, that there is a path we just need to follow. Fly high and dream. Maybe one day magic will happen.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Magdalena. That's so beautiful. I love when we invite our guests in the podcast and they start sharing the stories. And in that first initial moment, you guys taking us for this amazing journey within like, what was it, last 5 minutes or so? You've taken us through a lot of your life, you know, and it's incredible to be witness to that, you know, like we've known each other from the Jinkies Polska team. We are working, collaborating together, which I'm so grateful and honored to be part of it. It's such a beautiful group, and we're spreading the, you know, the wisdom and translations, which is amazing. So I wanted to just mention that because it's where we know each other from as well. But when you were sharing your story, it's really, you are like that hummingbird. You are very colorful, you know, like multi-talented, multi sort of, you've got so many different like things going on in your life. And from being a musician to being a mother, which is equally important and amazing. And as you said, like to sort of step back from the musician role and then to come back to it via some shamanic session. It's like, these are the beautiful little points in our life, aren't they? That basically transform us and maybe crack open something in us. That's what you shared about the anger. I love it, like how conscious you were of, you know, you felt something and you knew that it was something important in that anger, in that emotion. So you didn't squash it down, you didn't like try to get rid of it, you actually follow that curiosity in it. So I really love that. That's such a beautiful way to describing how your path took you where it needed to take you, and all your travelers, like a bird, you were already traveling. So, you know, I mean, that was beautiful. That was very beautiful. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I think it's that broader point around how there's an element of adversity, you know, that kind of, as you spoke to that frustration and anger that you shared, Magdalena, it's kind of that became the ground for change, right? And so often we hear about how we grow through adversity, and I think that's a very strong,
Yes.
profound example that you shared there.
Well, I think that the Jinkies, because I came to the Jinkies first before the Dream Arc, the Jinkies helped me to integrate that and to acknowledge all those parts which felt wounded and hurt and not hurt, and kind of fighting to be heard, and realizing that that is the fuel for something greater. And such a many wonderful things happen over the years, and I think the main one is just realizing that the gifts we have, the talents we have, are not for us only. You know, sometimes we think, oh, singer-songwriter, so she's just, you know, it is her personal story and she wants to be heard. Ha ha ha, yeah. Well, actually, the songs are to be heard because there is universal themes in many of them. And I somehow, as many singer-songwriters, came from the love songs because they touch your heart. But then my songwriting is, I call them now songs of power and transformation, or beauty and power. And there is beauty in love, but there is power in transformation and in changing and empowering people who take part in my concerts, in my workshops, to give them the tools that they can feel that raw energy in them. And the songs became the service. And this is something which I didn't know before. So the first chants which came to me, I kept them as my personal chants. I never shared them with anybody. I didn't have the right environment for that. And then I recorded my music and published and so on and so on. But then I came back to them, and suddenly they become now you know, the tools for others, you know, the uplift. And then when I have an opportunity, I can share the recorded songs or the songs which I'm writing, which are much more elaborated. As a musician, I think we need that a little bit of, you know, our own style added to things. But then the chanting has the beauty that we can sing as community. And I realize that this is my gift, to bring the community together. And maybe the family is a wonderful example of, teacher really, how to be in service first, and then see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely would encourage any of you listening to go to your the song that you've mentioned, like check them all out if you feel called to it, but definitely the Jestem kobietą mocy, or I'm the woman in power. It's so transformative. It's such a beautiful song. Like when I played it first time, I was going around the house and singing it for the next few days. It was just like I was chanting, you know, and it's like affirmation, but also because it's the drumming, and it's really like awakening something in me. And I was singing it, and as you said, I really felt that song is in absolute service to others. So
yeah, and I think that was the beautiful journey through all of that, because of course as the artist at the beginning, it is an ego journey. You know, it is. I can say it openly now, and probably to some level it still is. But if we can connect it with the bigger service, then the ego becomes a healthy ego, which is, I believe, that is the part of us which needs feeding, but at the same time wants with something bigger, and then it becomes healthy, and then probably it becomes much more powerful as well. It is not self-feeding, but it's feeding everybody who come in touch with that music, not necessarily with me, or with that sound.
We always talk with Martyn about that, about exactly that. When you're young, you almost need a little bit of that arrogance, you know, a bit of that ego. It's like a machine that like push you to the world, makes you go and travel that far. Otherwise you wouldn't, you know. And then you go and you explore and you collect all these experiences to then go in and sort of churn it all. And usually we all are activated at some point, right? Like by some event or some situation. And from then, that's when I think what you're talking about, Magdalena, now, that the ego sort of transforms a little bit. It's not about cutting it off or squashing it down. It's about embracing it and just embracing the transformation that it goes through, right?
I always love that Richard Rudd, in his book, the Jinkies book, talking about the 12 Jinkies, about the shadow of vanity, and he says that it will be the last shadow leaving this world. And I think that I get it. Because we all have some sort of agenda and some sort of glamour, and we want to be seen. And I can see that. But at the same time, this is a fuel for something purer, because of the highest vibration of purity. So it's a wonderful journey for that. Like, how can we go more into love and service, and less judgment and being critical of other artists, but actually creating something which can, that's my mission, ignite an artist in each of us. Because our world, sadly, is separating artists from their audience. The audience is listeners, and then the performance needs to be perfect. The pop music is a great example of that. Every single time you perform needs to be the same. I am not designed for that, and I realized it quite early, that I'm a natural improviser. So of course I can learn the song, but it's so stressful when I do that, in that dictated by the bars and when I need to come in and things. I'm classically trained because so my degree is in musicology, so I know very well how to be on time with orchestra and everything else, but it's exhausting. I found it exhausting. So, and then we are those perfect artists and the audience is just clapping. I don't like, I mean, there is a space for that, there is beauty in that, but what if we can clap all together and chant all together And of course, if possible, I can be on top of that and you can hear my voice, yeah?
There goes that 12.
Yes.
Little tickle for the ego still helpful.
Little tickle, yes, but
Yeah.
then there is that energy for everybody else to really feel involved and important. Mm.
Yeah, I was forming basically the way you both beautifully spoke to that evolution of ego into that communal artistry, and yeah, everything you both just so powerfully explained. I was definitely feeling that as well, and I just sort of joining different dots. I watched the podcast that Richard was with, Rick Rubin, who's quite famous music producer, and I came across his book called The Act of Creativity, and the whole book is everything that we're speaking to at the moment as well. So yeah, just synchronicities as always aplenty on the podcast and in general. It'd be really lovely. We've obviously touched on Jinkies and Dream Arc a little bit, but it'd be lovely to hear a bit more about how you found the Jinkies, some of the journey there, and obviously bringing us up to how you came into contact with the Dream Arc and how you've been finding the Dream Arc so far as well.
Beautiful. Well, I feel very fortunate to came across Jinkies 8 years ago, and I came through the human design, and I needed it as a tool to understand myself. So there were external events which were so powerful and stirring me and churning me inside so strongly that I see it as a parallel that I was sitting on a carpet all my life and suddenly realizing it's a flying carpet. So I needed to kind of learn how to fly on this flying carpet. And I was at the beginning, just holding to the tassels and then flopping and panicking. Externally, nothing big happened during that time, but internally, it was a huge, 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 huge time. And eventually I learned how to navigate, how to sit calmly on a flying carpet. And the human design was one of the tools helping me to navigate. And then the Jinkies was like such a beautiful relief to understand that nothing is wrong with me, that this is okay, that I need this flying carpet because my life is changing. And if I hold on to the old, I'm not going to be happy. But also, I don't know where I'm going, so it makes me very, very frightened. So there's lots of fear that I will face one day big changes in my life. And I don't like big changes. I'm line 4-1, so which Rao Ruhu from Human Design explains as one hand is holding to the old and the other hand is holding to the new, and it's just like till one is stronger and let go, and this one is holding you, and you just eventually can put the other hand. So I am one of those people. So that's why it was so powerful, because I felt the wave of change, but not being ready to manifest it fully into my life. So the Jinkies were absolutely amazing, and I feel very, very grateful. So I dive in very deeply and very quickly connected with Alicia from the Jinkies Poland. I wanted to join the retreat for ambassadors, but I missed it by a week. They closed that, so I wasn't on that retreat. Alicia was on that retreat, and in 2018 we decided, like, really, that why not to create a Polish hub for the Jinkies, and it has been a journey since then, big journey. Very, very grateful I am for that, and it's changing my life constantly. I can feel like I'm growing. I'm recently working with another brand called 7 Sacred Seals, and it's just opening my heart deeply. But the Dream Arc came when the Dream Arc course came out. So we joined with Kasia the first round, and it was like so many more things. You have 64 Jinkies, and of course it's a shadow, it's a gift, it's a CD, and suddenly it's like 192, and it's like there's so many different creatures, and I don't know even some names in my mother tongue, who they are, what they are, what they represent. So I felt like it was huge. So diving into that took me, there was a little bit of resistance, I feel, but the realization which I had, and even now I shared before we joined the podcast, is that I always felt very, very close to the hummingbirds since my healing session with my shaman friend. And the hummingbirds represents the journey, faraway journey. And then the Jinkies, as I mentioned, is that it became, I realized that in my hologenetic profile, it is my pearl and my culture, the position of Jupiter in my chart, which is huge, as Jupiter is big. And no wonder that intuitively, when I had to choose out of 20 different designs for the hammers, I just spotted the birds, and then I said I would like this one, and my dulcimer friend from who I got the dulcimer said, "Oh, these are hummingbirds. You're drawn to hummingbirds." I said, "Yeah, it makes sense."
Mhm.
And then years later, when I came across the dream mark, the 8 Jinkies, that essence of my pearl, which is that kind of place which gives you fulfillment and an outer contribution to the world, to the service of the world, is the pearl in a culture, suddenly is connected with hummingbirds.
Wow.
And it's like, how could that happen? It's like they are with me all my life. It feels like, and the traveling from the early childhood, I spent childhood in Algeria, so I was very early taking the plane, flying high on a plane, and nobody of my friends were ever on a plane. And I was one of those very first when I was 5. So yes, yeah, it's a beautiful connection, and realizing that the inner Jinkies, the 8 Jinki, represents the vibration, the highest one of exquisiteness. And I realize with my songwriting that this is my aspiration. I might not be yet there, or I'm sometimes touching that frequency, and somebody will say, "Wow, what happened today? The magic you created today during the workshop or concert or something." But it's not always there. I am aware that there is some, but the gift is having your own style. And I think that this is something which I can say that I'm embodying every day. And of course, what it is, your own style, it means that you don't care anymore what you sing. I don't fit any mainstream music. I don't know even what genre I fit in. I have endless problems how to fit into the Spotify lists because my albums are so varied. So obviously I don't reach a lot of audience, but at the same time it doesn't make me less, kind of, how to say, not worthy or not as good or anything like that, because it's just, I just cannot fit into the box. So with those hammers, I knock on the strings of my hammer dulcimer, and this is my main instrument for spiritual songs. So I don't perform that. I don't perform it in pubs or anything like that. Not that I like to perform in pubs, but sometimes there is an opportunity, and then if I know that I need to entertain the crowd, I would just take the guitar. But if I know that there will be somebody who dare to listen, then it's the hammer dulcimer, and these are my colibirds, my hummingbirds. No
all the
worries.
synchronicities again there are so powerful. And the bit, the dog in the corner now, and the bit you said at the end about, for people to listen, I guess from what you said earlier, we would add to participate and to join in with it as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it has been a wonderful journey, and then the realization that actually that tiny little bird who travels miles and miles, and it's so small, and you would think that nobody noticed, but actually there's so much beauty in that archetype. You don't have to be big to feel the stage. You don't have to even have a stage for thousands of people. I realize that the small group suits me very well because I can have a very intimate relationship with my audience.
Yeah.
And of course, I am a dreamer, and I would like my audience to be bigger and to have an intimate relationship with the bigger group. But if it's my path, it will happen. If it's not, it doesn't, and it's okay.
That's
You
such
know,
a
it's
lovely
coming to that
also.
point that it's not my ego is not here, the director of all of this. There is something bigger directing me, because I couldn't imagine the beauty which is happening all around me all the time.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
I also wanted to from what you're sharing, Magdalena, it's so beautiful that you looping in together all this amazing. You started with human design and astrology, and then Jinkies, and then Dream Arc. But essentially, at the end of the day, they're all pretty much universal language of the
Archetypes.
same sort of thing, of like that tools that help us navigate our wounds, our sticky points, our sort of shadows that if we get stuck in them, then we basically end up being quite victimy or reactive, and when we move from them and when we work through them, we actually end up more in those beautiful frequencies of like, as the Jinkies, which is one of the teachings that we keep mentioning here, together with the Dream Arc as well, with the essences of the animals and insects from the shadow. Like all of that gives us amazing insights into how to better understand ourselves. And from
Absolutely.
from what you said, what really like I would like to point a lot is the bravery of you actually being seen and being on the stage and singing. And as you said, like if your destiny is to be in front of millions of people hearing your beautiful hummingbird essence, then that's gonna happen, and we wish you for that to happen if that's what's meant to be for you. And if but I feel for the amazing success of your beauty is to acknowledge that that's your unique style, and that's what I'm gonna shine to the world. And I love that.
And yeah, beautifully said. And I must encourage anybody who doubt it, because it's a journey of courage, and we are not always brave. And I haven't been who I am now always. There were aspects of me which were activated, but there was lots of conformity and kind of don't show up energy, and they are energies around me, even in my close environment, who don't really get me. And that is the painful thing, which you kind of on a daily basis you need to confront. But rather than going into confrontation, going into acceptance and being grateful what amazing teachers those people are, who don't get you, who would like you to be like you were many years back, because I just cannot be that person from before. I am so grateful for being who I am now, because I wake up in the morning with a big smile. And if I want to cry, I cry. I don't hide it. I don't pretend. I don't, like that was the trend in the past, just to be a good girl all the time at any conditions, and smile and please and be happy. And I realized that the sadness and suffering is often the fuel to the best songs.
Yeah,
Oh,
that we said earlier about the
it is the
adversity.
fuel for creativity. It's so if somebody would say, oh, you have, if you feel bad, take a pill or antidepressant or something. I said, this will kill my creativity. I don't need it. I much more prefer to have a day when I maybe feel a bit sad, deal with that, and then see what, by the evening, it's very likely that there will be a poem, and out of this poem, maybe a chant or maybe a song, or maybe will stay in my notebook forever and I will just forget about it.
Yeah. And what struck me when you were saying that before about the sort of activating more parts of yourself and not conforming in the ways that are not healthy or positive, and actually when we own our uniqueness, that becomes an opportunity for other people to learn and activate themselves. Now, whether they do or they don't, that's not for us to worry about, but there's something, rather than feeling different or misfit or uncomfortable. The positive version is that chance to activate can spread further and further when people see it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. When you were saying, I just had another kind of parallel little thought connected with the dream arc, because sometimes people, ask me about my songwriting, and I usually say that I see songwriting or songs as butterflies who come when they want, and they may sit, flutter around you. And my job is to gently nurture it, or give it a nectar, and study it. And during that time, write those poems and write these tunes or whatever, and then let it go. And if I don't write it down, that and the butterfly goes somewhere else, it will go to another singer-songwriter, it will go to another poet.
Yeah.
And then she or he will catch it. So in this sense, what if we take into the consideration the concept that all this beautiful art and written in the past and in the future is in a big field, and we just get that genius, the genie, who comes and offers its gift, and what if we don't get it, it will go to somebody else. And in that way, the songs, I am the author of the song, but am I really? The chants, I want people to chant those chants. They, if they are alive, this means more than my name attached to that.
It's like, are we the composer or the instrument? It's that kind of metaphor, isn't it? And what you just said, I remember hearing Michael Jackson said if he had the inspiration for a song anytime, even 3, 4, 5 in the morning, he would have to write it down. Otherwise, Prince would get it.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't want Prince to get it.
I never heard that, but this is so true. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of my songs came from the most inconvenient moment, I supposed to prepare I remember one of the songs called Thrive, which is on my channel and on my second album. I wrote, it came to me at 7:45 in the morning. Well, just to give you the context, 7:45 in the morning when you have a family and young children and they need to catch the bus at 8:30. This is a crucial time to prepare breakfast, lunch boxes and everything else. And I am hiding in the toilet, writing it down and singing to the microphone as quickly as possible, because I know that it will go. So it's just those really hilarious and funny moments. And then when the kids went to school, I just ran into my notebook. Do I remember? Yes, I do remember. And then, it's there.
I really love this story because it's like, it actually connects our, those particles of the divine in us with the human part, because we all are humans. We all have partners, children, jobs, things. And to be able to catch this amazing moments in between all this, and this human part is equally important, to experience this dramas and this beauty and this joyful moments, but equally to leave those little spaces for that creativity and not like over noise it with like all sorts of different noises of the day-to-day life, So that's a beautiful way of telling the story.
Things, Kasia, I could say, which I really resonate with what Richard is teaching generally, and it will be in a dream arc and it will be in any other of his teaching, is pausing. And I realized that if I don't create time for my creativity, nothing will come. So I started to, when I kind of decided, I was 39, when I decided that if not now, then when? I didn't know where it's going to lead me, but it was that moment like, so if you say yes to yourself, you need to create time. So for me, that time was in booking the recording studio once a week and be there and be present and see how far it will go. And that was very important, because when I knew that I booked those time, I needed to prepare during the week with 3 children under, at that time they were under 10, 3 under 10. Or even under 8 at that time. Oh, yeah. So, in that time and work and other things, and I needed to prepare, because I'm going to be on Wednesday morning in a studio. So when I gonna play? So I played at night on my piano. I was preparing the next song, and that commitment and creating that pausing from your daily life for your creative, you know, whatever you do. So I would, you know, encourage everybody, just pause more often and see what gifts want to come. For us, some of us, it will be poetry. For somebody else, it will be a cake recipe. It doesn't matter. It can be a garden. It can be, you know, greenhouse, or the I don't know, house for the birds in your garden. Yeah, feeder.
There is the golden nuggets, as many of today already. So thank you for that. Yeah, I definitely underestimate the power of pausing, even though I'm aware of it. And as you mentioned, Magdalena, it's Richard very much encourage us in Jinkies and in Dream Arc to pause. Dream Arc is so fun because you can pause with an animal, and that's what, for me, Dream Arc taught me that, you know, I was always very connected to nature, and I know you are as well. But actually with the Dream Arc, we notice more, don't we? We have like so many birds in our garden. There's bee in the tree, just a street away from us. There's the whole beehive in the tree that, you know, they just occupied the tree. They decided to do that. And, you know, many other, including ants trying to get into our house at the moment. And all of a sudden, all these things that maybe in the past would be a little bit inconvenient or slightly annoying or just somehow not noticing it, now they are like amazing source of fun, because then we quite often, I'm like, oh, I wonder what's, like, I don't know, let's say crow represent, because I had like 5 crows this morning in the back garden, really, like, you know, playfully trying to eat the food I put in the feeders. Speaking of feeders, that's
yes.
So, you know, it's like it creates these opportunities for all of us to, like, when you pause, you notice things, and then when you start noticing things, I really feel like Dream Arc invites us to really play with the animals and connect again with nature even more and even deeper.
Should we do
Which,
that
speaking
now?
of, maybe this is the perfect time when we gonna do a little bit of fun.
Okay,
If you're up
yes.
for it, we gonna, in our Dreamy Dialogues, we always go to the Oracle, Dream Arc Oracle, where we gonna draw one of the animals, one of the 172, did you say?
92.
Sorry, yes, 92, 192 amazing beings to choose from. So if we can tune in all and see what animal is going to come, and if you would like to share with us, Magdalena, some story or some thought or any insight that comes after we draw the animal. So are we ready?
We are ready.
And everybody listening as well, tune in as well, because this message might be also for you. So
Sunny's ready now.
Sunny's ready as well, our doggy. So without further ado, let's go.
Oh, the
Oh.
Peacock.
How?
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Magdalena's response. No way. There's one in the background.
There you go. Synchronicities.
I'll read the
continue.
writing just to set the scene. So I am the peacock. For ages have I been misrepresented by humans. I come to remind you of the glories of heaven, of the beautiful spiritual potential that lies hidden in all beings. I, however, choose not to hide this radiance, but to shine it out for all to see. Wow.
There you go.
It is wow. It is wow. And the beautiful mandala you see, it's not a peacock mandala, but it's a phoenix mandala. But I feel honored myself, very much connected with the peacock, because it's my vocation. 64 Jinky, and the highest vibration of illumination is connected to peacock. So and peacock is connected with the phoenix as well. It could be as this mystical bird. Yeah. So yes, what a wonderful synchronicity. We know that.
Well, and if
taking
we could
place
share,
here.
well, we have a bit of a peacock theme here as well, don't
Yes.
we? So as you know, I'm in the wheelchair. I have the care requirements, and we for a long time had local people doing the care, and it was becoming difficult to find people that could do it. And so basically we needed people that could live in the house with us to help deliver the care that I need. And about 3 years ago, we had an extension built at the back of the bungalow. Do you want to continue the story of what the relevance is to Peacock?
Well, I mean, we basically, I had this impulse, as it very often happen when I just really felt that room, that energy need to have a peacock theme. So we have everything is in a peacock. The curtains are in peacock. There's a beautiful peacock feathers in the room, and the girls and boys, whoever comes to help, they really, really love this space and place. And they all come in and say that they feel amazing there, which is so great for us because, you know, it's part of that, like, you got to create your life and surround yourself with a beauty and with intention of like that's what you just read, the peacock, you know, just shine that anywhere and everywhere. Not like, you know, it doesn't mean only on stage, but as well, of course, but just in your everyday life, like really, really just, yeah. I feel like that's many synchronicities as always with Dream Arc.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. It's really powerful how it works, how the oracle works.
It never
all
fails
of
to
those.
deliver.
And also,
Pick up the
it's
most
amazing.
relevant.
Exactly, and amazing that actually with you, Magdalena, for me, you are just like the bird theme. You know, everything about you is birds. It's like hummingbird, the phoenix, which I was gonna ask as well because you have that symbol, and that you just mentioned it's connected to you as well. It's like, and now the peacock. It's no wonder we actually got animal collected from the bird.
Yes, well, I feel very grateful because few years ago, I created a very different songs to what I did before. And they were very punchy and kind of a bit angry. I can really be very wild performing the songs. And people who remember me from before, they say, oh, Magdalena was angelic and gentle. And suddenly she... And my friend said, oh, this is fantastic. You need a band. I said, well, I need a band. And then they created a band for me. And they created a name. And they created the name Magdalena and the Mystical Birds, because each of them had some connection with the birds. So the pianist, a wonderful pianist from the band, English UK folk band of 50 years, was one of the first folk kind of album of the band called Heron. And Steve was co-creator of that band, and they were active for 50 years. Now some of them are not with us, but Steve is very much connected with all that legacy of Heron. And then my other friend who joined is called Drew Crawstar, Craw, always black and amazingly colorful character. And he actually encouraged my colors to come out. Not surprised, his life work is Jinkies 8 with the beautiful hummingbird, but that's the parallel and a kind of digression. So we had Heron, we had Craw, and then the drummer chose to be an owl. And then the boy said, and you, Magdalena, and you, what bird are you? And I said, I'm a phoenix.
Oh.
So I became a phoenix, but I was shy to start with this phoenix. You know, when we had our first concert, well, we were launching the band in 21. We were launching the band in March 2020. We booked the theater, audience, sold the tickets, and starting the sale of the tickets. And we knew that something wrong is in the air. Mm-hmm. And then the date when we had the theater and everything else was 21st of March, the first weekend of the lockdown, before the UK official lockdown. We were not allowed to have audience in a theater. And it was really emotional and difficult. But I wasn't at that time really fully the phoenix. You know, I didn't dress up as I could. Then later, a year later, when we wanted to launch the album, which we recorded during that session, I said, okay, there needs to be a change. And then the feathers came, and then the hair came, and then the wings came, and then the dress made for all. I ordered a dress which is in a phoenix theme, amazing, beautiful phoenix with big wings. So I have double wings. One wings is the dress, and the other wings is my golden wings. And finally, I got the stage outfit, and I was so extremely happy, amazingly. But the journey of the Magdalena and the Mystical Birds band is interesting because we never really kind of get off. And right now we have a challenge because my friend has heart issue, and he's not well enough to perform. So we're working on a background on a second album, but the energy is kind of like, let's see where it is going. But I feel so grateful for all of this. And we know that Phoenix is the bird of transformation.
Yeah.
And it gave me the gift, and it's giving me the gift all the time. So in some sense, it allowed me really to be fully who I am. I can be the most gentle and angelic, and I can be really like, growling from the throat and just and go, and just the fire is bursting, and drums are just like in big numbers, and on top of that is the big wings and fire. I often hold the drum circles around the fire and with chanting. So there is a moment when the fire is just roaring and the raw energy is coming and the drums are coming, and I can be completely wild. I don't think that I would ever be like that without that experience with the mystical birds. And I really dream that the mystical birds will find the wind. There will be that positive wind for us to fly, because we had a couple of concerts which were absolutely amazing. It was, for me, it was like, I'm not so sure. And then the concert, one of them last year, was just like, if it was our last concert, I'm happy with that. It was the best concert ever. We were just wild, amazing, spontaneous, improvising. The songs flew easily. I didn't recognize myself. I said, I'm so effortless. It's just no stress whatsoever. And I said, this is the energy which I want to tune more often and have more opportunities for that to be activated. The band helps to activate it because you're supported with other musicians. I am a singer, so I play other instruments, but it is not like I have to hold everything, because the boys were holding me. And that is an amazing freedom. When I play solo, obviously I need to look after technical part of the performance, technical part of the instrument. And then I know that my vocal skills are slightly less, you know what I mean? Because I play safely. And with the bigger group, with a band, I don't have to be safe anymore.
Yeah.
That's a little
beautiful.
story.
It's beautiful what you shared here, because it shows about the collaboration, how we all need each other, at the end of the day. As you can be the solo performer as well, and that's a different quality. But I feel there's such a magic in being with others, and especially when the magic is actually flowing. And as you said, if like all the birds in the band got the wind in the wings, then you can fly really, really beautifully, and be in service to others. Like people come and they can be, they can have some fire reignited in them, and by you allowing yourself being fully transformed by the phoenix, I feel like audience also will allow some small part or huge part to transform themselves. That's the beauty of a great performance and great sort of service, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is somehow like I would say like, in those moments you feel like you're possessed by the spirit. And I have tingling in my hands, and I feel that, and my feeling of the eternity of the connection with the spiritual world is always through expanding of my auric field. So I feel from when I was a little child, that was the feeling that I'm expanding. So my legs are becoming bigger, my hands. And as a child, it was a game. Usually when I had a fever, and I used to be not well quite often, and I love that. I felt I'm a giant. The bed is actually, my feet are beyond my bed, and I was halfway the bed. Probably I was 5 or something when the first time it happened, maybe younger. And then that expansion is like, whoa, yeah. And then in meditation, when I go really to the deep theta state, I will have that amazing expansion. And then the moments when I could be few times on stage and I just feel that this is enormous field. You're connected with that field. It's not that I am big. I am connected with this amazing, huge field around, and everything becomes, I don't know, absolutely gigantic and beautiful and splendid and whatever else. And it's just my feeling, but I can feel the tingling in my body, the breathless, the breathless at the end of the song, but you feel like I'm being in a gym, but it's like, wow, that energy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. I think that many performers would say that there is and there's a spirit possessing us. It's something which comes through us. It cannot be only me.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is that part of me which is dormant, which sometimes get, the windows and the doors open and can expand and then comes to the safety again.
Yeah. I feel that could be definitely it. It's like that connecting to that oneness of all of us when you're allowing through that energy to flow. It's being in the flow essentially, I feel, because then you don't create any sort of interference, as sometimes our mind can, in that human condition, sort of create that. And when you flow, when any form of creativity, and that's why today you brought us into so many beautiful musical, but also creative processes. So we really, really are grateful for that, because I feel like this episode is an invitation for all of us to really tap into that, whether it's music or poetry, but let's all like get into that lovely state, the flow, of that, and collaborations, and connecting with others. It's a beautiful state to be at. So I feel we're almost reaching the end of our wonderful conversation. I can't believe an hour almost passed by.
I know, me the same.
So
Flown by like a bird.
Like a bird, exactly. So we normally ask our guest to share with us something for our toolbox. It's our space where every guest just shares something that helps them in their life to balance themselves or ground themselves better. And I know we mentioned before our podcast that you have a little surprise for us. So I feel we might be in a very lovely treat from Magdalena here.
Oh, calling for my hammer dulcimer.
Yeah.
A beautiful instrument which came to me a couple of years ago. I will show you how it looks like. So here it is. I will just maybe go a little bit backwards. It has a shape. I will see if it is possible to actually show you all. If I move, how far I can move backwards? I think I can. Because it's a beautiful trapezium-like shape. And I will move back.
Oh yeah.
Without hitting my head. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and here it is. And
so that's a dulcimer.
It's a hammer dulcimer with my beautiful hummers, with the hummingbirds. Yes, to play I need to take off my jacket because I have
you're tapping into your phoenix spirit or your hummingbird actually for this one.
Yeah. So I would like to share with you the song which came to me when I was out in nature in Dartmoor in UK for my solo trip, and it was really miserable weekend in August, and it was raining most of the time. But when it wasn't raining, I was out, and when it was raining, I was in my car playing and reading and playing music. And I went to the Stone Circle and came back with a song. And the song is called Where to Go. Close your eyes, sense the air, feel the wind blowing on your face. Face that wind, where he's from. He's whispering the story where to go. You are the chosen for change. Don't be afraid to leave behind all of your worries and be free. Follow that voice, do not look back. You are the chosen for change. Don't be afraid to leave behind all of your worries, all of your worries, all of your worries, and be free.
Bravo.
Bravo, Magdalena. So
No, the song is not
beautiful.
recorded yet. It is in the files, waiting for some production to be done to that. Because one of the project I would like to publish the songs, the kind of meaningful, transformational, spiritual as well songs, just with the voice and the hammer dulcimer, and they are recorded, but they are waiting for the right moment. Maybe for the right producer as well. Who knows? It's just
well, you can shout out. You never know. Maybe the magic of here will bring you.
You know
some
what? This is. I
connection.
mean, the beautiful thing is that I've been working very closely with the pianist from my band, Steve, who was my producer. But because he's not well, we're focusing now on the songs with the mystical birds because it is his legacy as well. Before he will part to somewhere else. All of us will do, but he will probably sooner than us because he's the generation of my father, actually the same age as my father. So in some sense, his energy is quite limited, and me asking him to work on my album, it doesn't feel right. But at the same time, there is this big desire and dream that this music will reach the world. So I'm waiting for the right opportunity, and it might be Steve, and it might be somebody else who enter into collaboration into my life, and we can create some music and magic with the hammer dulcimer, with some drumming, yeah, and with the voice.
Do you know what I feel with your I was gonna say determination, but I more mean with your commitment and your amazing talent and beautiful voice. You got such an angelic voice on the high. It's like brings you something. It gave me some sort of shivers inside, like it activates something in me. So it's really, and the dulcimer, I could feel those raindrops you were talking about when you were in the, on these holidays, and we have actually rain today outside as well in UK.
Right.
So but it's got that sort of gentle raindrop that almost are healing, almost feels like
Very
it's like
healing.
a very healing
I mean,
sound
the hammer
altogether.
dulcimer, the hammer dulcimer, which I play, and apparently, I never had. I had one lesson of the hammer dulcimer with my beautiful friend Daisy Dulcimer, who is very well known as a dulcimer player, and she lives not far from me. And she is a drummer, so she's amazingly technically a very, very, very talented, and her dulcimer playing is drum 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 is very vibrant, and it's like, whoo, mine. For contrast, usually I play very, very gently, and this is the way I play. And people say, nobody plays like you. I said, this is impossible. I don't listen to many dulcimer players, to be honest. I don't know many dulcimer players myself. I said, but nobody plays that gentle. I said, I'm sure plenty of people play it, but maybe because I didn't have any lessons in that, I'm completely self-taught. I found my way, which suits me. And there is something, it's very simple. The dulcimer is not it's a simple instrument in some sense, because it has, as an instrument, some limitations, but of course you can bring it to the next level with technicality and other things. But I like it to use it as an ambient, and that the voice can be the kind of leading part,
Which loops back to the hummingbird, which we can close off with this lovely image of hummingbird.
Oh yes, please.
I think there was a lot of it today, together with a peacock and and the phoenix, which all are you as well. So thank you so much, Magdalena, for today, for sharing your talent with us and your stories. They've been really inspiring. And if there's any one who would love to come and, you know, collaborate with you, maybe we can give a shout out. And whoever's listening, if you know of producer that might be good, you never know, maybe someone will find a way to you. So
Who knows?
Keep the synchronicities going, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's look
Absolutely.
out for the synchronicities for all of
Yeah.
us.
Well, just to add on one, you know, if anybody would like to meet me, I'm got a beautiful privilege to be invited for the gathering of Shamanic Gathering UK, New Glastonbury in September, and I'm bringing the Dream Arc there with drumming. So I'm going to
Oh,
introduce the Dream
fantastic.
Arc to the shamanic community in UK. So
So is that September 2024
September,
in
it is the
Glastonbury?
September, yeah, it's in Glastonbury from the 4th to the 8th, I think, in the Earth Spirit Center. But of course, if you wish, you can contact me. I live in Dorset, and it would be wonderful to meet you and to bring
Fantastic.
some magic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you.
story and your gifts and your inspiration and your music. And yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up again soon.
Yes.
Yes, because we still have things like this.
Oh, yes. There's a drumming as well. There's so much more magic.
Yeah, so I am just wishing you both to have many amazing contributors into your beautiful dialogues, and may the magic of the Jinkies and of course the Dream Arc spread our wings, all the visionary wings of all the birds may flap for all of us.
Beautiful. With that image, we're just saying warm
you.
goodbye to everybody and see you
Yeah.
next time. Thank you,
See you next
Magdalena.
time. Bye bye.